Hello, and welcome back to my series of excerpts from my new book, The Obsidians. We're going to be reading today from chapter 2. This is where we first meet our big bad, the mysterious and evil Shadow. So, if you're all sitting comfortably, then I'll begin. In the dark, wood-panelled study of a traditional red sandstone mansion, a bloody and battered old man sat tied to an antique Chippendale chair. The chair was worn and the leather seat betrayed its age. Flecks of fresh bodily fluid adorned its sturdy legs. Either side of the hunched old man stood what could only be described as a pair of human gargoyles. All rippling muscles, bloody grazed knuckles, and matching maniacal grins on their stony faces. "Please don't hurt me anymore. I don't know what more you want from me," cried the old man through his swollen lips. "Speak when spoken to," growled the goon on the right, each word punctuated by a heavy punch to the face. "Yeah, what Harry says," grunted the goon on the left, before taking a well-aimed swing to the side of the victim's head. "Answer the questions and answer them truthfully, and you get to go back to your dreary antiques," the lump known as Harry stated earnestly. "Well, if you can call going home with a broken jaw, a fractured skull, and all your fingers broken, one piece," sneered the other henchman. "Ah, good one, Bill," replied Harry, picking up a menacing-looking sledgehammer. He waved it in the antique dealer's face. "I'll ask you once more, who brought the gold piece from you?" The old man broke down into nervous tears. Okay, I'll tell you, just don't hit me anymore." The henchman stood back and the old man relaxed slightly. "I sold the item to a Mrs. Jessica Rabbit." "That's right, it was Jessica Rabbit." He let out a muffled laugh before coughing up a mouthful of thick, foamy blood. Harry uttered a guttural curse and then drew back the sledgehammer to strike the old man's head for a final time. Suddenly, a voice from the shadows behind a large antique desk called out, Boys, how do you expect Mr. Whittaker to tell us what we want to know if he's lying in a coma suffering from extensive brain injuries?" The voice was calm, deep, calculated. "Sorry, boss," the gargoyles quietly mumbled in unison. "Leave it a moment then, if you will," instructed the disembodied voice from the shadows. The study was vast, converted from what had once been a glorious library. The remaining bookshelves cast long shadows, leaving pools of darkness in every corner. The gargoyles walked slowly out of the room with disappointment etched on their stony faces, knowing their fun was over for the night. The smell of fear in the air was potent as the shadowy figure approached the trembling body of the tortured man. "Now, Mr. Whittaker," started the gravelly voice, "we know you advertised the artefact on your website for sale, correct?" "Yes," whimpered the terrified antique dealer. "We know that it was a young lady who inquired and subsequently acquired the artefact," stated the voice. "Yes, but I've told you, I don't have her name. I honestly don't know who she is. I've never seen her before or since," Mr. Whittaker replied resolutely, although with every passing moment in the presence of the shadowy figure, he wasn't sure how long his resolution would last. "This is the problem we have. I sense you're lying to me. And one thing is for certain, if you've any chance of surviving the night, you will tell me exactly what I want to know." The voice was commanding, its every word increasing in ferocity and volume until he ended on a deafening roar. Mr. Whittaker crumpled, adding yet more fluid to the leg of the chair. "Please, dear God, I don't know her name or where she's from." Gaining a measure of composure, the voice in the shadows more calmly replied, "Supposing this is true, you must know where the artifact was sent." "No, I can't tell you," bleated the broken man. "When you find her, you'll hurt her." Mr. Whittaker was aware that he was living his final minutes, but an odd sense of peace washed over him at that moment. He remembered his encounter with the young blonde woman who introduced herself as Eve Foster. He especially recalled the sense of tranquility he felt when they shook hands. Even now, he couldn't put his finger on what happened that afternoon, but what he did know is that he must protect the young lady at all costs. Thank you for listening. The story itself is going to be out on Kindle from the 1st of May. £1 of all the sales per copy is going to Marie Curie. It's a charity very close to my heart. My dad had cancer and a few years ago passed away sadly, but the Marie Curie nurses were fantastic. They run a great organisation, and yeah, that's just a little something that I want to give back to them. So please support this endeavour. I've had amazing support from you guys so far. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thanks for keeping coming back and keeping supporting that. That's very important to me. And thanks. Tune back in next week for another part. We'll get to meet some of our good guys. Promise. Take care. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell your friends. Have a good one.